Welcome to Strategy Unpacked. Today, let's talk about the question, how do you build a good strategy? Put simply, building a good strategy is all about getting better at choosing what not to do, even with the best analysis, the most robust execution, and the clearest vision. Strategy is ultimately about making choices on where to compete, what markets to enter, which technologies to adopt, and so on. Strategy is about deciding what to double down on and, more importantly, what to walk away from. There are broadly three ways of developing a strategy: linear, adaptive, and hybrid. Each of these approaches works best in different situations, but before we get into when and how to use each of them, let's take a step back and define what a strategy actually is. If you search for the definition of strategy online, you'll find various interpretations, but they all boil down to something similar. Strategy is about setting a direction and outlining a path to achieve your long-term goals. At its core, strategy development is about two things: defining your long-term goals and then identifying the best path to achieve them. Defining your goals is mostly about answering questions like, where do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? Why do you want to do it? And who are you doing it for? This involves asking a series of insightful questions, understanding your resources and constraints, and envisioning a future state you'd like to move towards. Identifying the best path to achieve those goals involves things like, how will you measure success? What milestones do you need to hit along the way? And what resources do you need to allocate? This usually involves some form of analysis, planning, decision-making, and prioritization. The outcome of this process is your strategy, which provides direction, allocates resources, and keeps everyone aligned. But the real magic of strategy lies in what it allows you to do by helping you make decisions about what not to do. Every choice you make to move toward your strategic goal means saying no to other potential opportunities. By deciding to double down on a particular market, for instance, you may choose to de-emphasize others. Deciding to acquire a certain skill set internally may lead you to outsource certain tasks. Building a capability in-house might mean foregoing partnerships or buying off-the-shelf solutions. All of these trade-offs are implicit in strategy development. Your strategy should always be viewed as a portfolio of choices about what to pursue and what to walk away from. These choices should be guided by your unique circumstances, including your company's resources, capabilities, risk appetite, and the characteristics of the market you operate in. In essence, strategy should address three key questions. What are you trying to achieve? How will you go about it? And what will you stop doing to make room for what you're trying to start? So let's dive into the three main approaches for developing a strategy. First up, we have linear strategy development. This approach involves setting clear long-term goals and formulating a detailed roadmap to achieve them. It's best suited for stable, predictable environments where the future is more of an extension of the present than a complete unknown. In such scenarios, organizations can rely on historical data, industry benchmarks, and established best practices to guide their decision-making. The linear strategy development process typically starts with a clear vision. What do you want to accomplish in the long run? From there, organizations delve into an in-depth analysis of both the internal and external factors affecting their business. Internal analysis involves examining the company's strengths and weaknesses, its resources and capabilities, and its core competencies. External analysis entails assessing the opportunities and threats in the market, often through tools like Porter's 5 Forces or PESTLE analysis. With this comprehensive understanding, organizations set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound objectives that serve as milestones on the path to their long-term vision. The next step involves formulating a detailed plan. This includes resource allocation, timeline creation, and establishing key performance indicators or KPIs to monitor progress. Once the plan is in place, it's executed with a clear endpoint in mind. The process is highly sequential and analytical. Companies refine their strategies over time by regularly reviewing their KPIs, making adjustments as needed, and adapting to any unforeseen changes in the market. Linear strategy development works particularly well for companies operating in stable industries where the future is predictable and the pace of change is relatively slow. Take, for instance, a company like Heritage Motors, a manufacturer of classic car parts. The market for vintage car restoration is fairly stable, customer needs are well understood, and regulatory changes are slow. So a linear strategy focused on expanding their product line would make sense. Heritage Motors could analyze their current product offerings, identify popular classic car models, assess market demand, and then create a plan to develop and launch new parts tailored to those specific cars. They could allocate resources, set timelines for product launches, and track progress based on sales figures and customer feedback. On the flip side, the adaptive strategy development approach is ideal for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous situations commonly referred to as VUCA environments. Here, the future is essentially a complete unknown, and traditional forecasting methods may not yield accurate predictions. Industries like technology, biotechnology, or any field on the cusp of major disruptions tend to fall under this category. In such turbulent waters, organizations must be agile, embracing constant learning, experimentation, and rapid adjustment to stay ahead. Unlike the linear approach, adaptive strategy development doesn't involve creating long-term, fixed plans. Instead, it focuses on setting a broad direction and identifying small, testable initiatives that can be iterated upon quickly. This approach encourages organizations to learn from their actions or inactions, allowing them to pivot or reinforce their strategies based on real-time feedback. To illustrate this, consider the case of Witham Eats, a new food delivery app launching in a highly competitive market. Customer preferences change rapidly, new competitors emerge constantly, and technological advancements require quick adoption. In this scenario, a linear strategy might not be suitable due to the unpredictability of the market. Instead, Witham Eats could adopt an adaptive strategy. They could launch the app with a limited number of restaurants, offer a basic service, and test different pricing models and features like group orders. By monitoring user behavior, collecting feedback, and analyzing usage data, they can determine what aspects of the service resonate with customers. This might lead them to pivot their strategy, for example, focusing solely on lunch deliveries if that proves to be the most popular time slot, or integrating a third-party payment platform if customers prefer that option. The adaptive approach allows Witham Eats to tailor their service to real customer needs and market trends, enhancing their chances of success in a highly dynamic industry. Finally, we have the hybrid strategy development approach, a combination of the best elements from linear and adaptive strategies. It is a balanced approach that sets clear long-term strategic anchors while incorporating flexibility and agility for navigating the inevitable uncertainty. Most companies today operate in a mixed environment where some aspects of the business are stable and predictable while others are highly volatile and unpredictable. A hybrid strategy recognizes this complexity and seeks to leverage the strengths of both linear and adaptive approaches. Companies using a hybrid strategy typically have a core strategy that remains relatively stable over the long term. This core strategy provides the overall direction and goals for the organization. However, specific projects, market segments, or product lines within the company may employ adaptive tactics to navigate uncertainty. This allows the organization to maintain stability and direction while still being able to respond quickly to changing circumstances. For example, Globox Software has been selling accounting software for years, a relatively stable and predictable market. However, the company wants to expand into a new product line, AI-driven data analytics software. The core business remains stable, so a linear strategy might be appropriate for the accounting software, but the new AI venture operates in a highly uncertain market. A hybrid approach would involve setting a clear long-term goal for both divisions. For the accounting software, this might mean maintaining market share and increasing profitability. For the AI division, the goal could be to achieve a certain level of revenue or user adoption within a set time frame. While the core strategy is linear, the AI division employs adaptive tactics. They launch an MVP, gather user data, run beta programs, and iterate rapidly based on feedback. This allows Globox to benefit from the stability of its core business while exploring the potential of the AI market without committing to a long-term plan that might become obsolete quickly. So which approach is right for you? Well, it really depends on your industry, your organization's culture, and the specific challenge you're addressing. For predictable markets or situations where long-term planning is feasible, a linear approach can be efficient and effective. On the other hand, if you're venturing into uncharted territories or dealing with highly volatile markets, the adaptive approach may be the safer bet. For most, a hybrid model is often the ideal solution, balancing stability and flexibility to accommodate both predictable and unpredictable elements. I hope you found this overview of the three main strategy approaches helpful. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights. Until next time.